What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. This is my weekly gaming news show. This is my weekly gaming roundup where we talk about games that are coming out, games that have come out, controversies in gaming, and general gaming news. So let's just get right into the games. Before we get started, though, one thing I do want to say, thank you for watching this, by the way. This seems to be one of the most best performing things on my channel. The sponsors love to advertise in the middle of it. I love filming it. I love following the news. I love sharing my opinions on the news with you guys. Thank you for watching it. It's now my favorite thing that I do on the channel each week, and I'm so glad that you enjoy it as well. So now that I'm done kissing your butt, let's get into the games. So God of War is coming out on Friday, and to paraphrase a fellow YouTuber, the folks over at Red Letter Media, I think there's only one way to express my excitement for this game. Oh my God! But seriously, look at that score. A 95 by the critics, but that's with 92 critics weighing in. Games don't get much better scores than that. This game is apparently going to be amazing. And I know it's been fairly controversial since the launch. A lot of people worried about stuff, but as you read the reviews, you begin to realize there's really nothing here to worry about. Now, don't get me wrong, this appears to be a very big departure from the series, and I'm a huge fan of the series. It seems to stay true to the roots when it comes to the violence and the over-the-top graphics and the over-the-top gameplay and stuff like that, but everything else has changed when it comes to the way the camera works, the combat system, everything. But as far as I can tell, based on the reviews, I haven't played it myself yet, but based on the reviews and what I've seen, it absolutely seems to be changes for the better. I just recently played through the remaster of God of War 3, and I have to say, after your 50th Minotaur, the gameplay can be kind of boring and not that fun. And I like the revenge story, I like the pacing, I like everything about those games to some extent, but I think more of just the same would not have been as welcome here. I think it would have got a much worse review score, and I don't think the game would have been as fun. So to see Kratos have some character development and to change, and to be a father again, and to have family to worry about, and the way that changes the way he acts and the things that he thinks and does is a very, very welcome change to me. So I know it won't be for everybody, but for me, I just can't wait. Here's the thing, though. I have matured. Gaming has matured. Everything has matured. So it only makes sense that Kratos would mature along with me, and I welcome those kinds of change. But I'm still a kid at heart, so I do agree with people who are saying, I want the over-the-top violence, I want the sexiness, I want the gore, I want the jaw-dropping action and the jaw-dropping graphics. As long as that's still there, I'm going to enjoy this game, and every review I've read has said that they've not compromised that in order to mature the game, to mature along with its audience. And if that's the case, then I think audiences are going to love this game as much as everybody else, and the critics seem to love it. I hope I do too. And just to give you a frame of reference, here's the top games so far this generation for the PlayStation 4, and this game will appear right there near the top. Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 1, The Last of Us Remastered is number 2, and this will be tied with the second place spot if it keeps its score, but putting it above XCOM 2, Persona 5, Metal Gear Solid 5, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne. Man, has it been a good generation of console games this time, and this certainly does not seem to be an exception to that, so I'm pretty excited. Now, this week's video is proudly sponsored by the folks over at Dollar Shave Club. I know what you're thinking, Boogie, you don't actually shave, right? Because you got a big beard. Actually, I do. I do trim my beard about once a week, but then on top of that, I also shave my neckline using my Dollar Shave Club razor, because now that I've lost enough weight to actually have a neck, it turns out that's a thing you have to do. Now, right now, if you click on the link in the description box below, they'll send you the base razor and 4 blades for $5, and that's a really good deal. You know, it's way less expensive than going to a store, and not only that, when you go to the store, you've got to sit there and wait for somebody to come unlock the case because razor blades are always behind the case. It's just so much more convenient when they ship this to your front door. With that kit, you're actually going to get their shave butter as well, and I've been using this exclusively. I used to use the foam that I used growing up, but this is so much better. It's way better for your face, and as you guys know from watching my videos, I have some really sensitive face skin, so this is really, really good on it. You'll also get this body wash, which smells like lavender, and I'm not normally a big fan of strong smells, but it's a nice subtle smell. I was actually fairly surprised by this. The star of the show for me from this package is these One White Charlies, and I know it's embarrassing to talk about, but until you've gotten clean with one of these, you really don't feel like you've gotten clean without them. I've started using these every time. So do me a favor, go to the link in the description box below, or go to dollarshaveclub.com/boogie2988, and you can try out all this stuff for only $5, and you'll be supporting me at the same time. So if you watch this series with any repetition, you'll know that I'm constantly talking about EA, and I'm constantly talking about microtransactions. So I want to talk a little bit about EA and microtransactions again this week, but I promise to try to keep it brief, and there's some really exciting stuff here. So to start with, there's been a huge shakeup over there at EA. A lot of people have been getting let go, and other people who have not been let go have been moved to different positions. And I'm not going to point fingers, and I'm not going to name names because I really don't like doing that. But it looks like this is all part of the fallout from that whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 thing, which, as you know, made mainstream media news and is actually getting laws passed. You know, when your game is so controversial, the lawmakers step in, somebody's head's going to roll. You're going to either get moved to a different position or you're definitely going to lose your job. Now, this started with them cleaning up Star Wars Battlefront 2, which they absolutely had to do, and this game is actually kind of okay to play now. It's fairly balanced, and the way that you unlock stuff is fairly balanced now. It's still kind of screwed up if you unlocked stuff from the older system, but it's a little bit better now, and there's new content still being released for that game. The next content patch, I guess, includes Ewoks for some reason. I thought they were trying to make the game better, not worse, but whatever. So spokesperson for EA basically said that we'd be lying to you if we didn't say what happened with Battlefront and everything surrounding loot boxes hasn't had an effect on EA as a company and an effect on us as management. And boy, I sure hope so. But of course, we've seen this go around time and time again. EA has learned from their mistakes so many times, but they continue to make the same epic mistakes over and over again. So it's hard to really take it at face value. This could still just be lip service. But fingers crossed, because he also said we have taken significant steps as a company to review and understand the mechanics about monetization, loot boxes, and other things in our games before they go to market. For games that come next, for Battlefield or for Anthem, players have made it very clear we can't afford to make similar mistakes again, and we won't. Patrick, I want to believe you. I really do. So give me something to believe in, okay, bud? And here's the thing, everything we've seen about Anthem so far seems really good, and just like Battlefront, at its core it looks good. The gameplay elements, the graphics, everything seems good, and it's being developed by an incredibly powerful and talented team, just like Battlefront 1 and 2 was. It all comes down to a handful of management decisions by the folks over at EA, and with a shakeup of management, that's all it really takes. Just fire the people responsible, or move them to different positions, or whatever it is you need to do to get some fresh blood in there for someone who is both pro-consumer and pro-investor. It is possible to please the market while also pleasing your investors. Just please do that. Please just do that and let Anthem be that opportunity. Now, of course, I made this exact same video about Battlefront 2 years ago. So who knows? But fingers crossed. I don't believe you this time, EA. I don't. I simply don't. Until I have the game in my hands and it's done well, then I'll believe you. So finally, the final topic I want to talk about is the controversy surrounding the Bullyhunters, which is something I was really tepid to talk about because I know this is one of those things that nobody's going to like my opinion on, and everybody's going to be really mad at me, but I don't really care. I'm going to talk about it and say what I have to say here, and I just know you probably won't enjoy what I have to say here, so you may as well click out of the video before we get started. Now, the premise behind the Bullyhunters was an elite squad of female players who would go into video games and look for people who are harassing other women in those video games. Specifically, I believe the game they targeted was a CSGO, and when someone would be harassed in one of those video games, a member of Bullyhunters would be alerted, then they would come to that game, come to that server, and destroy, team kill the person who is doing harassment to send the message of harassing women online in video games is wrong and you shouldn't do it, and that the Bullyhunters would be there to back you up. And I do believe that this was well-intended. I do believe that the people in charge who were looking for financing meant to create a conversation about the fact that sometimes we just want to sit down and play a public video game, and with more video games becoming group chat and text chat, toxic environments are kind of awful. And when you just sit down to play a game and you want to have fun, but you get grouped with a bunch of really angry, really salty, really miserable people, sometimes that's not very fun, especially if they choose to make fun of you as a person, your sexuality, your sex, your gender, your age, your body shape, that kind of stuff can make video games not very much fun. And I think that's something we can all agree on. And talking about that is a good thing to do. However, the way they chose to talk about this actually harmed their side of the movement rather than help it. And their first live show was just a complete disaster. And it looks like this whole thing is being dissolved within 72 hours of it going live. And that's probably for the best. The biggest mistake this group made is by bullying bullies. That's the opposite of what you want to do. That's the opposite of how you fix the problem. When you target a harasser inside of one of these video games, you actually validate their behavior. You make them feel stronger. You make them feel better. If you call in one of these bully hunters and they get hunted down and it's a very public experience, that actually makes them feel very good about themselves. It makes them feel validated. They're so glad that they were able to get under your skin. So glad that they can involve an organization like this. And hate begets hate. Bullying begets more bullying. It can often amplify the effects that you will have in that video game or in that environment. Everybody now, I want to get hunted down by a bully hunter. Every woman I see, I'm going to scream at. Why? Why would you think this is a good idea? Why would you think it's a good idea to fight fire with more fire when your goal is to put out the fire? It just no logic here whatsoever, and it's really frustrating to me. And look, I'm just some fat YouTuber, neckbeard dude sitting here playing video games. I don't presume to have the answer, but I can tell you, looking at something like this, even for just 30 seconds on paper, much less an entire live stream of it, I can tell you this should have never been endorsed. And the fact that a lot of big companies did endorse this is just mind-boggling to me. Where was their PR, guys? Where's their PR people? How could you not realize that being bullies to bullies is not something you want your product to be behind? Honestly, that's a bad decision. I will give the Bully Hunters credit for one thing, though. They proved a point that I've been making since the beginning of this YouTube channel. Bullying is never the answer, and bullying the bullies is not how you get this done. That's not how you fix that. Thank you for proving me right. I will give them credit for that. It was a very bad way to do it, but I'm grateful nonetheless. You know what? All of this is just one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and I know you'll let me know in the comment section below, and I always look forward to reading that stuff. And by the way, while you're down there, don't forget in the description box, you can order that $5 kit from Dollar Shave Club. You'll get some cool products, you get to try it out, and you'll be supporting me at the same time. But even if you choose to never do that, know that just by watching these videos, leaving a comment, leaving a like, hitting the subscribe button, hitting that subscription notification bell, following me on Twitter, whatever it is you do to support me, know that you're making my dreams come true, and I'm so grateful for it. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. And do me a favor, the next time you run into one of those online bullies, kill them with kindness.